away by Rogue, and Casio will be removed by Schalke.
So champions that I really want to see Schalke prioritize in their draft is things like the Lissandra. Now, normally it is banned away from them, but I feel like it's just the perfect band-aid for Abbedagge. Not only is he just a phenomenal Lissandra player, Lissandra is very strong in the meta, but she basically gifts teams mid-priority without having to think about it. She has a very good blind matchup, she's very hard to kill, she has great roam potential, excellent zone control and setup. It's just everything that you want, and if Schalke overlook any opportunity to take that champion, or if Rogue don't respect the fact that he's probably going to go for Lissandra, that's a big whoopsie for me.
It's such a comfort pick for Abbedagge as well. Like, he's played it the most this split, 6 games on it. Yes, he's 2-4, but I think you could find pretty bad win-loss for any champion that Schalke have played in the last few weeks. Kalista banned, Tristana, Lucian taken away as well, and it's going to be the first pick, Jayce, here for Rogue.
The other thing is that Draven often will slip through Schalke drafts. Schalke themselves will usually ban it away, but Upset hasn't played it. He's basically shared his pool between Ezreal and Kaisa, and so the fact that you have picks like the Lissandra, like the Jayce, like the Draven up, and they're not immediately picked up and grabbed is pretty interesting and pretty unique to Upset and Heaq as AD carries.
The Galio lock in, there's the Kaisa. You say the Draven could have been a possibility, but Kaisa so much stronger in terms of Upset's repertoire. We saw him got a pentakill on it last week. Of course, didn't end up winning that game, but we don't speak about the second half of that matchup. Now with the Galio, Kaisa locked in, there's the Ashe coming out from Heaq. It's an AD carry that's kind of been played a few times. We've seen it in LCK a few times as well, but it's not always the most effective.
It's the Heaq and W9D2 specialty. Just because W9D2 is a phenomenal Kench player, we saw his performance with that champion at Worlds, Ashe works really well in tandem with Tahm Kench. She makes up for the fact that he doesn't get any lane priority, and then your global power, your ability to move around and play a map when you have Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well as the Abyssal Voyage is really strong. Now, I would say that that's a fine pickup if you're any team but Rogue. And Rogue as a team haven't shown that they have the shot calling without Vander or the coordination to move this combo effectively around the map.
Let's see if they are able to do it this game. No Lissandra picked up in the first rotation. Yorick instead was secured to match up into the Jayce we expect in the top lane. Giving Odoamne a pick he's comfortable on, a pick that perhaps he thinks is strong into the Jayce is a big deal for Schalke, even though the Lissandra maybe would have been more common for them. I
mean, I hope that the Lissandra is at least taken away in this pick. I know that Abbedagge has felt that he can go towards other things to play around it. I just think just play easy mode. Don't make it harder than you need to be. As far as the jungle pools go, there's plenty of champions still up and available. Things like the Jarvan, the Olaf, the Sejuani.
And I think like when we talk about making it as comfortable as possible for Schalke, it's so important that they win this game. If they lose, they can only go through if SK then lose later on. So it becomes a much harder path for them, and their destiny is no longer in their own control.
See what they're gonna do.
You sound so enthusiastic about that, Frost. Come on.
I was one of the big fans of Schalke. When I saw them play early on in the split, I loved how jack-of-all-trades they were. I thought that they were a very smart, intelligent team. I thought that they could have been the final form, the answer to G2, who were just this incredible, powerful, mechanical powerhouse. And then Schalke were more of like the fine-toothed, team-fighting, slower team. But now Origin has really taken up that spot, and Schalke have just completely faded away. They never get to prove how strong of team fighters they are, because they often lose the game before 15 minutes just based off of very, very awkward mistakes, individual mistakes, just misplaying themselves.
I think that has been kind of the story of their second half of the split. Like previously it was about IgNar, Memento teaming up, and then we start to see Memento make a few misplays, stop watching when he's trying to get in for a gank. Just those little things that really drain your momentum and drain your motivation. Now, Lissandra has snuck her way through all the way to this second phase of picks. Jarvan, the flex pick there, is for Schalke, and now Ryze will be locked in for Rogue.
Now, it's still technically a flex between Sencux and Prophet. You can play both Ryze and Jayce depending on what the final matchup is going to be, so this could also be a last pick for Abbedagge, respecting that potential flex between Rogue's members. We should point out that it's Kikis' birthday.
It is, and he might be playing Elise in once again. He actually had a really good early game performance on it yesterday. I would like to see him lock it in again, but instead he's going to move across to the Elise, another very strong early game jungler.
I was going to say, the birthday boy said that he wanted to play Elise in, so I was expecting him to lock it in.
Instead going towards the Spider Lady. Now, Kayle, I believe, is disabled, unable to be played this weekend. So this is just a hover. It's not going to be Kayle. Don't get your hopes up. And instead, unsurprisingly, it's the Lissandra for Abbedagge in the mid lane. So it's going to be Galio support, Yorick up towards the top, and Lissandra in the mid.
But we do need to finally see the reveal here of which one's it gonna be in Sencux's hands, because he has played both champions, I believe. Maybe not the Ryze, let me check. No, he's played both.
He has. So let's have a quick talk about how these win conditions work and how these compositions work together. You talked about how Schalke tend to like to team fight. Feels like they have a pretty good team fight comp if they want it. Yorick, of course, so strong in the split push when he gets a few items under his belt.
It needs to be a bit of a slower early game from Schalke, much more controlled, because they don't have a lot of immediate power. We talk about this all the time, that Yorick is relatively weak in the early lane phase. Kaisa Galio is kind of the one big question mark here. Normally Kaisa isn't really known for her dominating lane phase, but with a support like Galio, she can actually be a big problem with the W chunk, as well as Galio's all-in early engage.
Okay.
But then you're looking at what did Tahm Kench, it's like, how do you crack that? Well, it's what did in Heaq, and statistically they haven't been the most consistent or high-performing bot lane, so there's always a possibility there. But I kind of expect this to be relatively slow if everything is going according to plan for Schalke.
And if things are going according to plan for Rogue, you expect it to be a little bit higher pace, I feel, with the Elise in there, with the Jayce, with even the Ashe can get quite a lot of damage down pretty early on. So maybe he's got a few good gank paths. Maybe we see Kikis unlocked.
And it's also about where the pressure is going for Kikis. Kikis is a carnivorous jungler. He likes to get into people's faces and he likes to duel. Elise versus Jarvan is probably not going to be the answer for him there. So give all of your attention to Prophet. If Rogue really want to take off this game, it has to be between Kikis and Prophet in that early game.
A lot on the line here for Schalke. A win would guarantee them at least a tiebreaker for 6th place. Could even guarantee them 6th place itself, depending on future results. If Rogue win, however, Schalke's fate is very much out of their hands, and they are very reliant on SK losing to Vitality.
So checking in on the Keystones really quick. Want to point out that Prophet is going for the Airy, so into the Yorick matchup, he wants to make sure that he gets the consistent whittle damage and try to abuse some of that early range advantage that he's going to have. The other thing is notable is it's not Unsealed Spellbook on Tahm Kench, it's the Glacial Augment, I believe. So looking for actually potential all-in power, especially when paired with an Ashe. If you actually get a hold of someone early on into a lane phase, there is kill pressure there. So showing that Wadid isn't just playing the defensive Tahm Kench, but could look to go offensive and try to break open that lane.
Yeah, I really like it, because you get the slow from your tongue lash, then you get the auto attack slow, and you can just continue to push on them. Even devouring them and kicking them back into your team can be pretty powerful, but depends on how close you're able to get to upset to ignite in that lane, and whether we do see either of the junglers going down towards that. Looks like it's going to be both junglers starting on the bottom side of the jungle. Typical ward coming out from Schalke in the Pixel Bush to spot Kikis if he goes for the Scuttle Crab straight after doing his red.
Both junglers making sure that they get a leash, so it should be pretty even going into the lane. I'm curious who's actually going to get lane priority here. I normally would err on the side of Ashe just because the volley can be so powerful. But again, the early all-in danger of Galio in early levels and his ability to push waves is actually quite devastating. So we'll keep track.
Has yet to level up a skill, IgNar. So usually when you want to push the wave, you get the Winds of War pretty early on, and you just try and continue to push. But looks like they've just accepted that maybe Memento wants to come for a gank, and he might need the taunt.
It's also the fact that you have Upset taking the teleport instead of a battle summoner like the heal. So that ward that was placed, also we need to point out, has grabbed hold of Memento, because there was the possibility of an early gank for Jarvan, but instead it looks like he's going to try to contest both scuttles.
Yeah, with Kikis doing his red straight into his blue, into Wolves, into blue, so he's going to be a little bit slower on this. Does have the smite. Memento has a smite of his own. Kikis going to hit level 3 here, so might just see a smite fight over the Scuttle Crab. Actually, Kikis still only level 2. Memento forced away, but both of them have smite, so Memento probably could have stayed around there. He did just use EQ. Probably wanted to wait for the cooldowns to be back up.
This is kind of a perfect example of situations where Memento kind of makes some questionable decisions. He thought that he had mid-priority with the Lissandra, so that's why he wanted to contest both scuttles, but he has no strong side of his map top because Jayce is so far forward, and it actually almost put him in a situation where Kikis could have contested the red.
Kikis uses the Spiderling just to chuck it in there. Memento gets cocooned up. Kikis maybe just looking to get out of this one because Abbedagge is on his way up as well. Memento flashes for the slow with the auto with the red buff. Kikis flashes away. Prophet's trying to force back that top lane, but Kikis is already so low. Memento gets the first kill, and Prophet is forced back in the top lane as well.
Okay, let's be frank here. Memento was gifted that kill. The fact that Kikis got an advantage because he saw him on Scuttle, chased him off the Scuttle Crab, had Jayce as the strong side of his map, and still managed to feed Memento the double buff as well as the first blood is a pretty big whoopsie.
Yeah, Kikis maybe being a little bit over-eager, thinking that he would get a gift from Memento on his birthday instead. Was met with his demise. Bit of a lead in the bottom lane for Heaq, about 10, 15 CS up, 7 to 10 CS up there on the Ashe. We wondered who would get the push priority. It looks to be very much in favor of the Ashe and the Tahm Kench.
She just needs to be very careful. What Did's responsibility is, I just need to make sure that while we're pushing up, because Ashe is very good, that once she gets the wave fed into the tower, she can actually continue to abuse you under the tower because of the reach and kind of chip of volley. That if IgNar looks for the long lane to go in, that what Did is just there to gobble him up. So needs to play it a bit more defensively on this short of a runway.
Especially since they have no vision in the river as well. Memento's gone back, has the Skirmisher's Saber on that job, and maybe we'll start to look for some of those ganks, because if you can force Heaq in with Did out of that bottom lane, you relieve a bit of pressure on the Kaisa. She then starts scaling up as well. Maybe you pick up a kill here or there, and you have the teleport always to get back into the lane as upset. So even if you just get the wave pushing away, you can get back with a bit of an advantage. Looks like Kikis is pretty adamant he wants to play around the top side of the map. It's going to be a 2v2 mid here. Glacial Path comes out with the Rune Prison, caught at Abbedagge before he could follow up. Memento there, Kikis. Once again, just standing on the firing line here. There's the Cocoon, Sencux in with the chase, but Memento can EQ away. Abbedagge lands a good Ring of Frost to get the double slow. He's caught up in the Rune Prison as well. Kikis still on the chase. Abbedagge has to flash away. And it's just Summoner's burnt in the mid lane.
Also good response from Wadid to make his back come in. He immediately walks it towards the mid lane. So heads up play from Abbedagge and Memento to say, let's just burn the flash. Let's not try to tango with this too much. But now that Jarvan's been chunked out and sent back, this is a potential dive threat, knowing that there's no jungle assistance.
Dark Procession comes out. Abbedagge caught in the mid lane, though. Can't get away with the Glacial Path once again, and Sencux will take him out. Ignite used from Wadid for the assist. Memento now here, though. Kikis and Prophet have taken a long time looking for this gank. They will get the turret plating, and Memento shows his face. Forces the rogue jungle top away. And
those individual mistakes keep coming back to bite Schalke in the ass. The fact that Abbedagge thought that he could go forward against a Ryze without a flash available, doesn't have a cleanse because he's running the TP, and then just dies for free. It's pretty classic Schalke.
Kikis caught out. There's the Cocoon as Odoamne with the chase. Prophet coming in from the side here as well, and we'll have a lot of damage already on that chase. Ooh, Kikis ticked down to just under 100 HP, but he will escape, and Prophet actually has a sizable advantage now up towards that top lane, about 10 farm ahead. Bot lane, meanwhile, still very much in favor of Rogue, as well as Heaq and Wadid continue to force Schalke back.
And that top lane felt like a situation where possibly you criticize Memento that he could have tried to go for that kill onto Kikis, but it felt like with the wave pushed into Odoamne on the top side, it was more important to prioritize your Yorick, getting the free gold and the free levels, rather than trying to chase deep past a Jayce, pull your Yorick so you get your Jarvan to safety, and find the kill on Kikis.
IgNar maybe looking for a bit of an engage here, as Heaq did step up, but as you say, Wadid always there with the safety of the Devour, and although we'll see Heaq and Wadid continue to push in this wave, I don't actually think we're going to see too many kills unless the junglers give a little bit of attention. Maybe the level 6 from Heaq, maybe he'll catch out Upset if they hit that level 6 first, but not going to be able to do too much for the time being.
We've also now reached level 6 on both Sencux and Abbedagge, and so this should stop being about killing each other, although we'll hold our breath to see if Abbedagge plays this lane a bit more respectfully, and be about getting out to those side lanes. Both teams have so many tools in their composition, whether it's the Ashe arrow, whether it's the Galio ult, that all they need is one of these mid laners to get the first rotation, and then start opening up this map with some plays.
We'll see who is able to get that rotation first. Abbedagge dying in the early game. It's been a story of his split. Actually sitting at 39 deaths this split in the LEC. It's third of all mid laners, and has 12 ISO deaths as well. Isolated deaths where his teammate isn't around. Sometimes just really struggles to play through the early game by himself.
You just need to have the experience as a rookie to recognize that, you know, on a stage like this, you need to respect your opponents if they're going to take more opportunities that you're probably not used to taking.
And I think people have started to realize that although Lissandra is a comfort pick for him, you can sort of isolate him, pressure him in the early game, really push him back. This is good stuff from Schalke. They got a bit of a push in the bottom lane, were able to sneak away the Ocean Drake at 8 minutes in, so they are still finding a few advantages, but once again, we see Kikis just spending his time around the mid lane, around the top side of the map, that he knows that's where his team is strongest.
Yeah, Kikis just needs to isolate this, so hold that.
Yeah, arrow was used, but it's only going to hit onto IgNar. Talks about the possible level 6 potential, but Upset not being caught means they're not going to get too much.
But they still have full control over here. So again, Kikis just needs to isolate this. He's getting tons of plates onto Jayce's pocket. It's just Ninja Tabi versus the Serrated Dirk and double Dorans from Prophet. So he is all in on just being a super pain to this Yorick up here. And as long as Kikis can just keep Prophet abusing Odo, force underneath his tower, he's happy. He doesn't have to force that up there.
So is the intention just to continue keeping them in the lane for as long as possible? Get as many placings as possible here for Rogue, and then when you open up the map, maybe you can do a little bit more.
Oh, hold on.
Abbedagge caught out. Actually, Cocoon doesn't lick, but the Rune Prison will. Abbedagge took the short glacial path to chase still in from Sencux. And once again, an isolated death for the Schalke mid lane.
Didn't even need to connect the Cocoon right there. The Ryze was enough.
Upset teleporting down towards this bottom lane. This is the advantage you can get with the TP summoner spell, of course. You get the ability to push out the lane. You can see Upset has equalized that CS discrepancy, now has a BF sword and pickaxe for himself. I expect to see the double pickaxe build for the Cathian Rain upgrade, which is what we usually see out of Kaisa's. Maybe even gets a plate here, as IgNar will come across. Doesn't have Demolish, but the plate will fall, and we did, and Heaq use the Abyssal Voyage to try and get back here in time, but aren't able to stop that first turret plate going down.
So it's just another unfortunate timing for Abbedagge right there. Control Ward has been in that brush for quite a while, so Kikis, we thought it was going to be about him and Prophet. He's definitely given space to Prophet, but he's teaming up very well with Sencux right now. Good news for Schalke and Abbedagge is that he now has access to Merc Treads as well as the Kindle Gem, so we'll have some extra health as well as the Merc Treads to hopefully not get stuck in too many situations like that again.
You just become that little bit more tanky on the Lissandra because you can run Aftershock as well. If you can get that Keystone proc, then you can do quite a bit. Looks like Abbedagge is going to be the first one to roam out of the mid lane down towards this bottom lane, though.
Everything is set up and ready. You have all ultimates available that they need.
IgNar doesn't flash in with the taunt. They decide against it, but Heaq turns it back around, and now Memento's just going to come in. They use the ammo, but Heaq, devoured up by Vander, flashes away into the Cataclysm. He's not going to have the time to use the thick skin. Schalke get a kill, but the support gets Heaq out alive.
But ultimately, it's Rogue who are eating up the better play on the map, unless they're able to turn this into a tower, which they don't have the time, they don't have the members, and they're not going to have the flat damage. It's still a Rift Herald, which is a possible tower advantage to Rogue when they play that one.
Yeah, teleport used by Abbedagge to get back into the middle lane, but as you say, the Rift Herald, especially if you use it with some plates, here it goes, looking for that top lane tower first. Already, I think 2 plates have gone down. This Rift Herald will take another 2 for itself. And then you're just looking at the chip damage coming out from Prophet. With the Empower, the Hyper off the W, should be able to get a Memento here, just in time. IgNar on his way as well. Hero's entrance is a possibility. Rogue decide they don't want to go for the full-in engage. Sencux just going to use the Blast Cone to get over the wall. He was roaming his way up, but they decided against going all in for that top lane dive.
No, I think they might actually stay around and look for it. At least WODD is trying to figure out which direction he's going.
Well, Elise is still there. Actually looks like they go for the engage onto Odoamne. Kikis had just waited in the bush. Odoamne steps a little bit too far, and you have to think that's going to be the first tower falling in the top lane. It's a 2,000 gold lead for Rogue. With that turret, will be about 2.5.
And it's the fact that Jayce was the huge benefactor of getting all of those plates. This guy is so fed on this back. He's going to have ridiculous items. So it wasn't about camping Prophet's lane. It was about isolating it. He has done his job. He sufficiently punished Odoamne, and now Jayce is online and ready to go. So Rogue, you got your power window. Now you got to abuse it and use it.
See, the Yumu's Ghostblade already completed, the Ninja Tabi as well as a 24 CS lead for Prophet. We're only 12 minutes in. Now they can rotate that Jayce around. It's the reason we see him banned so often, the reason he's a power pick for our teams. We did force out a little bit here down towards the bottom side, but not going to take too much damage as he can just heal up with a bit of that thick skin. Ocean Drake on the cards in 34 seconds, but the question is now where Prophet goes. Do you bring him mid, or do you just keep trying to push in that split push rock?
I think you're always going to be cheating between the top and the mid lane wave. As you called it earlier, it was Kikis hanging around to the brush, waits until Odoamne thinks the 1v1, wants to go aggressive. Yeah. Surprise! 2v1.
Odo even burnt his flash at the end there, though, so we might see that come back to bite him as Prophet can just continue to push him back in the lane. Schalke trying to do something towards the bottom side of the map as they do have a little bit of an opening. Memento lands the smite, the Frozen 2 comes out, and actually looks like Kikis just overextended there. Went for the smite fight, wasn't in range of the Tahm Kench, so couldn't be gobbled up to safety.
And I really like the fact that Schalke is still playing around the strong side of the map, which is their bottom side. And yes, Odo has kind of been left on this island, and he's just like, absorb it, survive the chase, staunch the bleeding up there, and then are continuing to make plays or find picks. It's just unfortunate that it's not transitioning into anything. You know, when Rogue are finding picks and kills, it transitions into turret plates or a tower itself or a Rift Herald. When Schalke are finding it, it's just kill gold.
Memento coming in here. There's the Hero's Entrance as well. Sencux going to flash away, but the chase is on. Abbedagge there. The taunt comes out. It's another good kill for Schalke. You can see Prophet trying to rotate down, trying to do something with that mid lane tower. But Rogue pay for it with a life, and Schalke now can start to chip away at the turret for themselves.
Here comes Jayce, though, for the flank.
Oh, ammo lands. Abbedagge doesn't have the flash. Gets caught in the CC chain. Kikis gets the kill. That's good stuff from Rogue to answer the mid lane pressure.
I don't know if it's autopiloting, but to lose track, like there's clearly communication problems from Schalke there. You don't know where the bot lane is. They've walked into Fog of War. Memento has returned to his jungle. Why is Abbedagge stepping forward and trying to push that tower?
That has to be the question that you ask yourself. Like, they just, when they came in, they looked like they knew exactly how to play League of Legends. When they came into the split, you know, they started off so well. They were 7-2, and then since then they just continuously made individual mistakes and team calling mistakes.
And this is just kind of part of the Schalke project. You know, when you do have young players like this, you can't just leave them on an island onto their own. You need the veterans to help guide them and to keep track of them. Because otherwise, you do go into full autopilot. You're like, I've got the wave behind me. I want to get these plates. Let's pop forward. I'm probably safe. I'm a Lissandra.
Yeah, you think you can just glacial path out of there, but not going to be able to do it. Turret plates have fallen down as Rogue now open up the map with this mid lane tower. Can't quite get it yet, about 200 HP left on it, but they should be able to take that pretty darn soon. Ocean Drake did go across towards Rogue as we were watching that last replay, so a dragon apiece, 15 minutes in, and with about 1,500 gold lead, Rogue looking in a pretty good spot. Let's have a quick look at the items though, Frosk. He's still got the U-moves complete on Prophet, almost a Trinity Force on Odoamne, just needs the Stinger and then that little bit extra gold. AD carries are always interesting because already Upset has finished his Infinity Edge, but there's a Blade of the Ruin King on Heaq, so we have to see which AD carry is able to do more damage with their one item power point.
I'm going to say that Kaisa.
Yeah?
Probably pretty solid.
Is that because it's Kaisa or because it's Upset?
I think it's a mixture of both, actually. Okay, we're looking for Arrow into Cocoon.
Also looking for Memento, because he is by that tower. Now he's been spotted out, and immediately Kikis says, no, no, maybe. The Cocoon doesn't connect. Memento just walks straight to the lane, trying to push it out with his team. Tower's going to fall in the mid lane, and Schalke, with the pressure they got down bot, not really going to do too much. I mean, they cleared a wave. That's a thing.
So, Abbedagge is now paying the price for the top lane sends, and the fact that Jayce has been unlocked. He's trying to teleport out.
He might get out here. Sencux used the Realm Warp. He escapes! Odoamne, fancy TP, just to get away.
But the Jayce project has been successful in that Prophet took the top side, got all of the plates, then used his power to push down mid lane, and now as this map gets opened up, this is where Rogue's composition is really strong. Again, their ability to eat up and make very quick macro rotations with Ashe, Tahm Kench, and Ryze is pretty crazy. It's now, can Rogue actually execute on a composition like this? This is something that we see all the time standardized in Korea in the LCK. But from one of the weakest teams in the LEC, I'm a little bit apprehensive.
Sencux caught out. Here's the Hero's Entrance as well. Memento Abbedagge should be able to take this one out. They get the kill. Sencux will fall once again. 3 kills now on Abbedagge. He's 3-3-1. And it's actually in an okay spot on the Lissandra, although he's been caught out just a couple of times.
I mean, his job as Lissandra is just to zone control and just set up hard CC for the rest of his team.
That it is. And as we approach kind of like the more open period of the game, we talk about mid-game being after these first set of towers really start to fall, after the team can rotate a little bit better. What are the game plans for these two teams? Because we talked about Schalke wanting to take it a little bit slow. I mean, it's 9 kills in 17 minutes, a bit slower than our first game, but perhaps not as slow as they'd like it.
Something that Schalke are really good is at securing safe lanes for Upset to grab farm. His ability to get CS post-lane phase is still very strong. You expect that of a veteran ADC.
Yeah.
And so usually at this point, it's probably Upset just saying, get me to this item, and then we can group up and look for a fight. So they're going to bounce around their lane assignments, moving Kaisa around to all of the available farm. And then once she reaches that point, then they'll pull the trigger and look for these fights. As for Rogue, they need to be in the driver's seat more. You need to play around your Jayce, you need to play around all of the mobility that you have, and start creating more opportunities while you're waiting for this Kaisa to get farmed up.
So Upset is just saying, get me to the Ginsus. And as soon as she gets to the Ginsus, maybe that will be the point at which we see Schalke start to try and open up the map. You can see Abbedagge matching Sencux down towards the bottom lane. There's a Mountain Drake on the cards in just a minute and a half as well. Lots of vision control up towards the top side for Rogue, as they've cleared out quite a bit of that jungle. And you can see that that's where they intend to play around. Maybe they can find a catch here or there. They will use it to open up the map even more. There's the arrow, only onto IgNar. He's still got the flash. He's going to land the tour, only onto it did, though. Kikis goes in. IgNar goes golden. And then we'll flash away. We did with the flash follow-up. He did get the stun off with the tongue lash, but IgNar had already procced the Justice Punch and can't be CC'd as that happens.
And unfortunately, that's a lot of cooldowns and a lot of time burn from Rogue. And again, Schalke then just get to absorb all of that pressure, get the necessary farm on the carries like the Kaisa, like the Yorick, and tick ever so closer to those item breakpoints that they need before they can start taking over the game.
Odoamne will finally get this top lane tower. It keeps the gold pretty even as well. Only about 700 gold in it now for us, because we see Schalke start to fight their way back into the game. Maybe looking for a catch in the mid lane. Did is just waiting around the corner here and always has the Devour to keep PQ safe. They know that Memento could be around, and so we'll just play as cautiously as possible. Here he goes. Memento in. There's the Cataclysm. Upset's going to jump forward as well. Here comes the Realm Warp. Everyone's joining the fight in the mid lane. IgNar with a good taunt, but Memento gets flanked by Prophet. And already that's one down. Upset now forced away. Abbedagge fighting with Sencux down towards the bottom side of the fight. Caught up though with so much damage coming out. Kikis splash forward. Odoamne puts him in the cage. It's only one so far. Sencux gets the damage down though. Great flash Rune Prison. And it's another kill across to Rogue.
Sencux was massive that fight. The fact that he came from the flank and was able to grab Abbedagge before Lissandra got into the fight, she's still sitting on ultimate. It meant that she couldn't proc off of the Glacial's Edge and get the ultimate off to turn the team fight in favor for Schalke. That was huge from Sencux.
Really good stuff from Sencux. Now has the completed Seraphs as well. The Dragon is going to go down for Rogue. Now Prophet down towards the bottom side. Should be able to get the tower pretty easily. You can see the hypercharged damage coming out from that Jayce going towards the Black Cleaver next, which will help him even more in the side lane against Odoamne. And Schalke, they tried to make a play. They're forced back. And now it will be a waiting game for them once again.
And you can totally understand the reasoning here. They just had a skirmish where Rogue had used a lot of vital cooldowns, so they thought, we've got all of our cooldowns, let's try to force a play here, see if we can get a pick. But weren't counting for what did, weren't counting for Prophet, and then there's Abbedagge. Comes in on the TP, wants to get into the glacial path, isn't able to connect with it. At this point, Sencux has taken him down to 25% health. The Lissandra ult is still sitting up, and there's nothing that they can do. They just get run down.
It's flashing forward with the Rune Prison onto Odoamne as well, just keeping people in exactly the right position for Rogue to find the picks. And now Rogue grouped up as 4 players up towards the top side of the map. Gonna get Baron control, gonna get vision control around it. Keep Prophet off in a side lane if you want, although he doesn't have the TP, so maybe they want to keep him a little bit closer to the team.
And now we do need to start having this discussion. Oh, perfect. Never perfect.
Gives us time to have the discussion you want to have, though.
The discussion about Jayce versus Yorick in the side lane, I think everyone knows that eventually Yorick is just going to be a terror right there. But what's interesting is that it feels like Jayce is no longer just kind of this 2-item, 3-item, and then falls off. He can compete and have kill pressure in the side lane.
Yep.
The problem is that you almost have to allow him to kill you.
Okay.
When it's the Yorick-Jayce matchup, I don't expect any kills to happen there. Not that there couldn't be kills, just that it's very hard in those extended lanes that at a certain point, if Yorick's like, I don't want to fight this, just throws up the cage and walks away from him. And that's what I think is really frustrating now about how that matchup has evolved versus, there's never going to be a point where Jayce can do anything to Yorick. No, he will be able to, but Yorick has to allow it.
Yeah, if Yorick plays it properly, he shouldn't be dying in the lane, but Jayce can force him out of the lane and then try and use that pressure to do things on the rest of the map. Now, Odoamne is the one who has paused. I'm sure we'll find out exactly what is going on with the Schalke pause in a second. Of course, apologies for it, but we'll get it sorted. We want the players, especially in such a high-stakes match, to be at optimum capacity. As a reminder for everyone, if Schalke do lose this game, their fate is out of their hands, and they are relying on Vitality beating SK in the next game for them to get a playoff spot.
Sorry, I was talking to my producer.
Oh, good job. That's fine. No, I gave some stakes.
Oh, okay.
I said, guys, if Schalke lose, they need
I was like, I could try to play this off, Medic, and I could pretend like I was listening to you, but I wasn't. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think there's a lot of people at home who would share the sentiment at times, Froskurinn.
I'm so sorry, Medic.
That's okay.
People think that you and I are always on our first date when we cast together, but I think we're pretty much solidly on a 50th date.
Yeah, we definitely are. Maybe it's a bit like 50 first dates.
Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler.
One of us is experiencing the date time after time, and the other one's just like, oh, new stuff. As a note, Upset had an eye issue. He got some tissues, and now he is good to go, which is why we're back on into the action. So thankfully that was sorted out in just a it would sort out lickety-split. That's a very English saying. I don't think you guys have that in America, do you?
I think you said yesterday there's no flippin' way that they do that to them, and I was like, that is such an English saying.
Well, it's also because I did not want to swear as Abbedagge gets caught out with the Moon Prison. There's a hero's entrance, though, straight into the Frozen Tomb. He's going to heal up. Here's the teleport, and you can see Sencux pops the Realm Warp to try and get Kikis out. He will. Sencux not in the Realm Warp meant that Kikis could escape because Sencux couldn't be CC'd. And now Rogue can make plays on the other side of the map.
Unfortunately, there's nothing for Rogue to make the play over. Maybe they make the rotation onto Yorick.
Straight into the cage.
I got it.
Arrow still lands though. We did him on the chase. Has the thick skin, can tank up the tower. You can see Prophet has a lot of damage. Odoamne forced back, but Prophet was the one tanking up in the end. Memento came across on the flank, and Rogue unable to find the catch they want.
Yorick has to choose to let you kill him. He is so frustrating.
Oh, Kikis here. Caught out. Memento can go in with the Cataclysm. Kikis goes golden. He pings, and there's no one there to help you, my man. You are done for. Upset gets his first kill of the game on the Kaisa.
Yeah, unfortunately, just caught out. We'll see how... they definitely won't do Baron. Definitely don't do that. Oh no.
Okay, what's bad about this? Why do you not want them to do Baron?
Because Rogue correctly reset their position on the map and are sprinting towards the Baron and have a very fed and strong Jayce.
Okay.
So even if they had vision control over the area, it would still be very scary this early on in the game to contest it. And when you're playing for your playoff lives, you don't want to gamble it on a Misfits Baron.
Good thing from Schalke is, though, they get the vision control around the Baron. So they do sweep out some of the vision that Rogue got. Rogue will now come in, try and do it on the other, like on the bounce back.
But it just kind of proves kind of the faith that I've lost in Schalke that I once had. I see them move towards the Baron, I'm like, oh no, don't do it.
I mean, a lot of people have lost that faith. They've won one game in the second half of the split.
It has been a brutal fall from grace, and I had so many segments. I was so aboard the Schalke train. I was like, these guys went to the finals. This roster is so underrated. Upset's the best ADC. They can do it.
Was able just to get out of the area of the Ring of Frost, but you can see Schalke playing up towards the top side now here. Odoamne actually joining up with his team, bringing the Maiden in. They will take down this mid lane tower and just continue to keep that gold pretty even. Only about 1,000 gold between the two teams.
But the magic item has been complete medic. Upset is ready to go. He is a very powerful Kaisa, so you should start to see a bit more confidence and bold moves from Schalke that, okay, if our AD carry, if the star player, the franchise name is ready to go, we're ready to fight around him. So he's going to be on the hunt.
Heaq has the Runaans as well to try and answer, but Runaan's much more about being able to find those team fights, be able to get the damage down across multiple members. You have to remember that if Prophet is in these fights, he has another serrated dirt, he has a completed Black Cleaver, he is very deadly. If he can jump onto Upset, if he can catch someone out, he can shred them. However, Schalke are pretty good at surviving. You know, you have IgNar there to act as a bouncer, you've got Abbedagge who can ult himself if he needs to, you've got Odoamne to play some zone control as well.
Yeah, they have great zone control between the Cataclysm, the Lissandra, as well as the Galio taunt. It's not just necessarily always about the cannonball, it's just about creating space and time for Upset on Kaisa. The ability for Schalke's composition to fight front to back, to set that line of scrimmage, have their massive tank line, and then just roll through Rogue's front line faster than Rogue can roll through theirs, is exceptionally strong.
It feels like Rogue are the team on the back foot a little bit here. Sencux has been answered by Odoamne. Some Prophet off to the side lane trying to deal with Abbedagge as well, but it feels like the vision line that we saw from Rogue now has actually been pushed back. They have 1 or 2 wards in the river, whereas the rest of it is Schalke vision all the way down. And maybe the momentum of the game has kind of swung into the favor of Schalke 04.
I would agree with that. We talked about the big power window that they have with Prophet to try to make as much ground as possible with this Jayce. And don't get me wrong, Prophet's still strong on the Jayce and the isolated skirmishes, but Schalke at this point in the game don't want to play the isolated skirmishes. They want to play the 1-4, maybe a 1-3-1 occasionally, but they're looking to group up and to start forcing big fights.
Dragons equalized across the two teams as well as the mountain goes to Schalke, so it's an ocean and a mountain for both of these teams. And it feels like Rogue are a little bit hesitant to really do anything at the moment. They're kind of just catching waves, pushing them back out, catching waves, pushing them back out, and it's Schalke who are upping the tempo a little bit as they get control over the majority of the river. You've now got the Trinity Force finished on Odoamne. You've got 2 items on the Lissandra as well. And Odoamne just diving under the tower here. Teleport comes in straight away, and Sencux roots him down. Odoamne trying to get away, but the Realm War's going to chase them. Hero's entrance comes out. Odo already dead, and maybe IgNar's got into his doom, but the Abyssal Voyage comes out. You can see there's going to be a massive fight. This is a 4v3 in favor of Schalke. At least nowhere to be found. Prophet crashes away, but gets caught in the Cataclysm. Did eats up Heaq. Goes golden. Heaq spat out. Prophet's still alive. They get the cocoon. Abbedagge goes golden in the right moment, but Heaq lands a great arrow, and maybe Heaq can turn it around. No, it's burst down! top. Kikis tries to get away, escapes the taunt, but the Justice Punch comes in from IgNar. They're not going to look for the dive. Upset hits the long-range Void Seeker, but Schalke come out on top and take down the tower.
Very messy, very back and forth fight, but even without Odoamne to start that one off, Schalke managed to win. It felt like for a second that Heaq was going to plant his feet and have his hero moment, but cut short. As Yorick locked himself underneath the tower. Not a great position to be, so Odo basically just gives that one away for free to start the fight, but Schalke like, yeah, you know, our composition, we can still force this, guys.
You can see, like, Wadid does everything he can to try and get Heaq out, and this is the moment I think Heaq's got it, you know, he melts through Abbedagge, steps forward, but immediately Upset actually gets on the front line with Abbedagge and is able to get the damage down with that plasma to kill off the enemy AD carry. And Schalke now come out 1,500 gold ahead. Maybe that was the kind of skirmishy teamfight they needed to really take control of this game.
I mean, they've been trying to force Rogue to fight them for a while now, and each time that they do catch them, it's always on Rogue's tables. You know, it's Rogue who are approaching Schalke, and the Schalke are like, okay, if you want to dance, let's tango.
2,000 gold lead between the AD carries now as Upset finishes his QSS, so if he's ever caught out by an arrow, by a cocoon, by a rune prison, he is able to escape now. It looks like Schalke might be just setting up for the Baron. They know that Sencux is in a side lane. They'll clear out the far side alteration. They go back in. They're starting it up.
They have a Kaisa as well as a Mountain Dragon. They'll shred through Baron.
And they're going to TP in as well, just for the safety. I don't think Rogue really have any idea that this is happening. Good call from Schalke. The arrow lands, but only onto Odoamne. The Baron will go down, and Rogue too slow to answer. Good call from Schalke to secure themselves a Baron at 28 minutes into the game. Also,
shout out to IgNar. Excellent zone. He didn't necessarily need to use it right there, but recognizing what his responsibility was in the Baron setup was off towards the mid lane brush. So if they did walk in, he was ready for the taunt.
Remember, if Schalke win this, we are guaranteed a tiebreaker at the end of the day. Doesn't have to actually be a tiebreaker in which Schalke compete, but we'll have at least one game to play. And the question is, can Rogue find a way to fight back from this? Because you've got a Kaisa who scales incredibly well, already at 4-0-2. Infinity Edge, Runan's complete as well. Heaq hasn't been consistent in showing us that he can really fight these late game team fights incredibly effectively. Maybe Rogue will just look for a catch in the side lane. They do have the Realm Warp here. They're going to go in. Prophet joining up, Odoamne. Wow, he just puts down the Dark Procession and all members of Rogue are forced away. Good stuff from the top laner from Schalke, and now Schalke know that they have the advantage in this mid lane, can push forward for the tower.
This is going to be a huge loss for Rogue. They know that there's 3 members, like you said, so they're going to be able to just walk this one for free down the mid lane.
At least an inhibitor tower here in the mid lane, you have to feel. You can see Abbedagge up towards the top side is pushing for these tier 2 in the top lane as well. That will fall pretty quickly to the double cannon wave. Schalke not going to overextend for the inhib, but they will get 3 towers off of that play. A 5,000 gold lead for them as well.
The unfortunate reality of a play like that for Rogue is it's so medium reward, high risk.
Yeah.
If you do kill the Yorick there, what? You get some damage on the tower, but you're competing against Baron running down your mid lane. So if that gets fumbled any harder, you could essentially just lose the game there.
All that would have needed to happen is one person dies, really, and then you can just push in the mid lane.
Or they just decide to hard engage on Heaq and Wadid that they've been doing the entire game, and then suddenly no one is there to defend your base. And it's just kind of, you know, if you really want to examine where things are going wrong for Rogue, it is in a lot of these playmaking decisions. It felt like when Vander was on the team that it was a bit clearer, but
they have some time after today to think about, to reevaluate, to strategize for how they are going to be able to play in the summer split. Of course, not in playoffs, eliminated a couple of weeks ago. Schalke now trying to push in all 3 lanes with this Baron buff. Still a minute remaining on it. Odoamne can just force forward the lane in the bottom wave, and mid lane coming in as well. Tower just slowly chipped away at Prophet. Not really able to deal with Odoamne in that pure 1v1 anymore. The rest of his team coming across, but that inhib is the target for Schalke in the mid lane, and they will get it pretty darn easily. 31 minutes in, they've totally broken open the base of Rogue.
Yeah, their base is just being smothered. Expertly done by Schalke to feed all of the lanes in simultaneously, so maximizing their use of this Baron. And it is a single trigger pull away from being a possible end game, but I'm actually curious how emboldened Schalke is going to feel if they feel confident right now that, okay, we can force this end, or if they're just going to play it very slow and very calculated. So much is on the line.
There's too much on the line for them to really just go for the 50-50 play. Even if they lost the 50-50 though, they wouldn't lose the game off it, right? They may say, okay, we can be a little bit more brave, a little bit more courageous and force a fight, but instead waiting for the next waves to come in. They just want this second inhibitor out of it. Upset across here. Rogue maybe looking for a trigger to pull. They have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but Schalke, they're not going to force it. They just get the second in here, they back off. They know there's another Dragon on the cards pretty soon. Right, it's already up for them if they want it, so they can reset and then go for that top lane push. Do it by the numbers, Schalke. Your playoff hopes rely on you winning this game. Yeah,
just spend all of the free gold that they got. Like you said, pick up the free Mountain Dragon, and if they really want to, wait until the next Baron. But I want the team to play a bit more emboldened. I feel like one of the issues for Schalke is that they've lost a lot of confidence recently. So.
But is this the moment to have confidence? Like the thing for Schalke is there's a possibility they play a tiebreaker game against SK later today. And yes, you want some momentum and confidence coming into that. But is forcing a big mechanical team fight against Rogue the way you get that confidence? Or is it just win the game?
It's a very low risk, high reward play. Because if you force that team fight in the base, because there's nothing for Rogue that even if they ace you there would get back outside of the shutdown bonuses. It's not like they can run to a Baron. It's not like they would run it up through all of those towers in the mid lane. It's like, why not take it?
Yeah. That does make sense. Justice Punch used by IgNar to get away. Kikis misses the cocoon, and Upset's going to turn it back around. Memento forced away by Prophet, but Upset jumps forward. Kikis goes golden. You can see the taunt coming out from IgNar, the TP as well. The taunt lands onto Elise. Widid flashes away, but the Cataclysm comes down, and there's the hero's entrance as well. Widid's going to be sacrificed for saving his jungler. Widid will fall, and now Schalke maybe just look for the push. 4v5, they can just go for the end. Instead, they will go to the top wave. They'll catch that, and they'll push in for this final inhib.
The only problem is they expended so many cooldowns and trying to pick up just the support right there. Maybe if they had grabbed someone like the Jayce or the Ryze, or maybe someone a bit more fundamental to their wave clear, they would have tried to just run it in through the mid lane, but I don't mind this call right now.
Take down the inhibitor tower, using Odoamne in that mid lane alongside the Maiden, just to continue the wave pressure, continue the slew of minions pushing into the Rogue base. Schalke looking for the third inhib of the game, and it should be a pretty easy secure for them. IgNar stepping forward with the taunt. They'll take down the inhib, then they'll back away, reset, 30 seconds left on the Baron, take that, and you think this is very much Schalke's game.
And this is the last stand available for Rogue. They know that the Baron is spawning in 23 seconds. They have a tiny window where they can leave their base, rush towards the Baron and try to set up some vision, and try to contest Schalke and hang on to live to see another team fight, which is why Widid is chasing them.
Yeah, just trying to keep Memento away from getting back to base so that he can't regen, he can't set up again, but eventually the super minions are just going to push in all the waves and Rogue are going to have to answer them. Maybe going for the catch here onto Widid. Face check straight into Upset and Odoamne. Put in the Dark Procession. Velmorn coming out as well. There's the arrow. Prophet going in as Heaq joins the fight. And Schalke actually can just take this one from the side. As Abbedagge jumps onto the back line. It's a double kill for Upset already. And the rest of Rogue have to run for the hills. The chase comes out. Schalke will catch out Sencux, who does a lot of damage at the moment. Prophet force down. Sencux going to flash away, but straight into the face of the minion waves. And Upset flashes forward. Upset goes legendary. The Kaisa gets the kill. The minions are on the Nexus. And Schalke should have this game in the bag.
And here comes the teleport, like you said, just methodical, clean, slow. They get an extra bonus kill just for their time.
Yeah, it just puts Upset at 9-0-2 for the game. Schalke keep their playoff hopes alive with a convincing win against Rogue.
But it's not over yet.
No. We are guaranteed a tiebreaker though, Frosk. And I know how much European fans love their ties.
No, but we do love League of Legends. So more League of Legends I'm always going to be a fan of.
The good thing for Schalke is they know that they at least have one more game to play to determine their playoff lives, right? They are at least going to have a tiebreaker for that 6th spot. Even if SK win, they will have a tiebreaker. And it makes it just a lot more secure for them. They can be pretty happy with that performance, a weak early game, but they were able to slow it down, keep the tempo where they wanted, and then fight back when they saw their opportunities.
And still showing that they are strong once they're grouped up as a 5-man unit. Unfortunately for Rogue, though, the journey has ended for playoffs, but their spring split project ends here.
It does. But the good thing about long-term partnerships is it's a long-term project sometimes. You have to work out what works for you. You have to find the best player coordination that works for you as well. You know, we've seen Widid and Prophet in, we've seen Vander in, we've seen Finn. Maybe a little bit more experimentation in the off-season will give Rogue a newfound life coming into summer.
We know that they've got rookies like Larson sitting on their ERL team.
Very good player. this loss.
I hear
Watched
a
him
lot of hype.
in the Challenger Series. For anyone who is still intrigued by the possibility of 3 tiebreaker games, the most tiebreaker games we can have, that is still an option. If you look at your folder sheet, it's number 19, scenario 19. You need SK, OG, and Splice to win the remaining 3 games of the day. And if that happens, we'll be playing 3 tiebreaker games tomorrow.
I'm all for more League of Legends, more tiebreakers. Again, though, there are some questions to be asked and begged of Schalke. Still some inconsistencies, if you will, in the lane phase. Some of the, I'm going to call it autopiloting, or just not quite thinking about what's happening on the map around you, where you're just kind of tunneled into what you're doing on your screen. And I think that's kind of one of the big issues with Schalke right now.
If you guys do want to keep up with the playoff race, the folder sheet, which looks like this, is available at eu.lolesports.com/folder sheet. If you remember the VODS half-brother who introduced us to the folder sheet just yesterday, maybe typing his name at the end of the URL might give you something a little bit special. But if Memento, Abbedagge, and Upset got you jumping out of your seats, be sure to vote for the Kia player of the game. Vote at lolesports on Twitter. Do you have anyone you're going to give it to?
I mean, I think you have to give it to Upset. He was kind of the most consistent member. It felt like the game plan was pretty clear to get Upset to 2 items where he's comfortable, then just roll over Rogue.
And he didn't die at all in the game as well. Went 9-0-2, I believe.
I'm all about KDA players.
KDA is all that matters. And for more on Schalke's win, we're going to check in with Law and their jungler.
Thank you very much, guys, and thank you, Memento, for joining me. You guys won when it mattered the most, but I gotta say, when the game paused, I wouldn't say you looked tilted, but you looked serious. Tell me about it.
I wasn't actually tilted. I was I'm just really tired because I drank a Red Bull. And you know, I mean, I drank Effect. Effect is really good. It's the best, best energy drink, guys. And yeah, so I just like kind of went up and then I kind of went down. So I was just a bit tired, but I was not tilted at all.
Don't drink too much of this, guys. You heard him. I want to talk about something. You tweeted something recently that really bothered me about the fact that you thought that you lost it, that you didn't know how to play anymore. How do you end up thinking something like that?
I think it's very normal when you end up like losing a lot of games. You kind of start questioning, what is the problem? Is it me? Is it what is happening, you know? And I feel like my level right now is not the best. And I think I've been like sort of underperforming because I feel like I'm such much a better player than I actually showing right now. So I think I just need some time to like bounce back on that regard. But obviously, I think the tweet was like overkill because I was like at my lowest point and we lost against Excel, which was kind of important to make playoffs and stuff. So I think I was just really hard on myself, and that's kind of one of my flaws as a player. I'm like really hard on myself because I expect a lot from myself.
Yeah, everybody does, and this is how you guys perform in the end. Are you feeling better now?
I'm still really stressed as it is. Like or the past week, I've been like really stressed, and it's been pretty rough for me because I've never been stressed like in my life. I'm a pretty calm person, and I'm pretty mindful, or I try to be at least. But now I'm dealing with a lot of stress, and it's just overwhelming for me. But that's just something I gotta work on, and hopefully I can get back to my level as soon as possible, or for playoffs.
It's coming back, and yet, as you said, you still have a hope for playoff. How do you switch your mindset back in these situations? Just stay calm.
I mean, I might think low of myself when I lose, but at the end of the day, all I want to do is I really want to win, and that's all that matters. And I don't care how stressed I am or whatever's going on in my life. I will do whatever it takes to win.
Okay, so keep it calm. You at least have a tiebreaker at the end of the day. SK are going to play Vitality next. Who's winning this one?
I mean, if Vitality win, we go playoffs, then we're locked in. If SK win, then we play a tiebreaker versus them. I don't really mind both. Like I don't mind playing SK again, but I kind of want to go home, you know, so if SK could just lose, then that'd be great, honestly.
You heard him. Please send this guy home. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it's going to be match of the day, SK versus Vitality. Stay tuned, guys.